Okay, let's tear down a freelance sales agreement. We're going to look at the opportunity, the risks, and of course, all that fine print.
So here's the big question. Could you really bet your entire paycheck on your own ability to sell? In this explainer, we're going to deconstruct a real-world contract to see what that kind of high-stakes bet actually involves.
First up, what's the actual job? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what you're really being hired to do.
The official title is Independent Business Development Officer. Sounds pretty important, right? But what it really boils down to is this. You're a freelance sales pro, and your mission is to find, negotiate, and close deals for the company's software.
And they get really specific about your duties. You're handling the whole shebang, from generating leads and pitching products, all the way to negotiating and managing client relationships. You'll even have to use their specific software, Zoho Sign, to send estimates. And your job isn't over until that contract is signed and the company's been paid.
Okay, now for the part everybody really wants to know about. Let's talk money. We're going to deconstruct how this 100% commission model actually works.
The big, juicy number they put front and center is 35%. That's right, you get a 35% commission on the net revenue you generate. And on the surface, that looks like a pretty sweet deal.
But here is the massive catch. That 35% is everything. The contract makes it crystal clear. You are compensated solely on commission. That means no salary, no expense account, no safety net whatsoever. You are betting it all on your ability to close.
So, how does the cash actually get to you? Well, first, you have to close the deal. Then, the client has to sign on the dotted line, but here's the real kicker. You don't see a dime until the company gets paid in full. Only after the money is in their bank account does a 5-day clock start for you to get your share.
But it's not all risk. There's a really interesting upside buried in the details. That 35% commission isn't just a one-time thing. It also applies to recurring revenue from stuff like maintenance and support fees. So every client you bring in could become a long-term income stream.
Now, with that kind of earning potential comes a very strict set of rules. Let's dig into the key restrictions and obligations you have to follow.
And you gotta watch out for this next part, because the title is seriously misleading. There's a clause called non-exclusivity. You'd think that means you're free to work for other companies, right? Well, not exactly.
In reality, this non-exclusivity clause says you may not do similar work for other companies, and you may not compete with this company's clients. So despite the name, it's a classic non-compete clause. It's the exact opposite of what it sounds like.
Next up is a non-circumvention clause. This one's pretty standard. It just means you can't meet a client through the company and then try to cut a deal with them on the side. And importantly, this rule sticks with you for a full year after your contract is over.
And of course, you're sworn to secrecy. The contract lists a ton of stuff that's considered confidential. Their pricing models, client lists, business plans, the works. And this obligation to keep their secrets doesn't just end when you walk away. It's for good.
The contract hammers this point home again and again. You are an independent contractor, not an employee. So what does that actually mean for you in the real world?
The difference is huge. As a contractor, you are your own business. That means you're on the hook for all your own taxes. You cover every single expense. Your phone, your laptop, your gas. And benefits? Nope. No health insurance, no paid time off, no retirement plan. You get the opportunity, but that's it.
All right, every relationship has to end at some point. So let's talk about how this deal can be terminated, because how it ends can have a massive impact on your final paycheck.
If things just aren't working out, but nobody's really at fault, there's a clean break. Either you or the company can end the agreement with 30 days written notice. Simple enough.
But that 30-day notice period completely vanishes if you breach the contract. If you break the rules, termination can be immediate. We're talking 0 days notice.
So what gets you fired on the spot? The big stuff. Breaching confidentiality, committing fraud, or doing anything that damages the company's reputation. Any of those will get you terminated immediately, with no warning.
And here it is. This might be the most critical financial line in the entire agreement. If the deal ends, for any reason, you only get commissions for deals where the client has already paid the company. If that money isn't in their account by your last day, all your work on that deal means nothing. You get zero.
So when you boil it all down, it's a fundamental trade-off. On one side, you've got incredible freedom and potential. You're your own boss with a shot at a huge 35% commission plus that reoccurring revenue. But on the other side, you're shouldering all of the risk. It's 100% commission, no safety net, no benefits, and every single expense is on you.
So we've broken down the job, the money, the rules, and the risks. The freedom is yours, but so is all the pressure. The only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. Is this a deal you're willing to take?